Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been meaning to get to making one, but you know, life has been happening a lot, like it usually does to everybody. And I've been feeling overwhelmed and stuff. Schedules have been crazy, and life is just, sometimes it gets overwhelming, but deal with it as it comes, right? Yeah, right now I'm driving to a doctor's appointment, just so y'all know. That's why I'm driving and looking all over the place and stuff. Hopefully I can obey traffic laws while I'm driving. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, sorry you can see my arm holding my phone up. I need to get like a thing to stick on my dash or somewhere to hold my phone. I had a tripod, we moved, it got lost. I believe my son broke it. Like a little mini one that can like grab onto things, but I need to get something that can actually like stick. So meantime, you're just gonna have to deal with me just like holding my phone. Seeing my fat arm in the side of the view. Okay, so messing up my rear view mirror here. Sorry, people. I wanted to talk today a little bit about what a premature baby is. I know a lot of people know what it is. Pretty much everybody, unless you're really young, but what a lot of people don't seem to understand is exactly what constitutes what a premature baby is. Even when I looked up on a couple of websites about like what it was, a lot, you know, well, one of them said if they are both early, you know, pre-gestational age, like before 37 weeks, and if they were underweight. But the other sites didn't, you know, specify the weight, which I'm grateful for, because unbeknownst to a lot of people, they don't have to weigh just a couple pounds to be a premature baby. Now, a baby that weighs less than, like around 5 pounds or less, usually they will stay in the hospital a little bit longer just because they are underweight, and underweight babies can have complications. They have problems, you know, maintaining their own body heat. Sometimes their blood sugar levels can be off. Sometimes there's reasons why they're that small. You know, maybe the mom was on drugs or smoking or drinking. That can cause it. There's other genetic things that can cause an underweight baby. And so they like to monitor them to make sure they're okay. But that doesn't mean they're premature. That just means they're little. And it can be life-threatening to be really small. Now, what if you have a premature baby that is big? The only case that I know about where a baby can be big and premature is if the mother has gestational diabetes. And the reason why they're so big is because the sugars in the mother's body aren't metabolized correctly. And so a lot of weight and growth, oh, my poor car's gonna break. The oil light just went on, that's awesome. Hopefully I don't die here. Turn my heat on full blast so I can cool down my stupid car. It's overheating. I'll have to pull over. I drive a junker. It's a junker minivan. So I have to wait for it to cool down. Anyway, so the sugar levels can be really bad for a premature baby. So let's see. I'm gonna leave that fan on. It's really sad. My son, he was born prematurely. Well, I had 3 early babies. 2 were considered premature. My son was especially premature. He was 2 months early, so I wasn't quite even 7 months along with him when I had him, and I had him via emergency C-section. My body had gone into preterm labor, and that was because of a lot of complications I was having, and I believe it was because I had gestational diabetes that wasn't being treated, and I also had preeclampsia, and he was growing at a very rapid rate, like crazy fast, and they were concerned about that. They didn't understand why. I mean, they did the blood sugar test level with me 3 times. I failed it the first time. The second time, it was borderline. The third time, I think it was borderline, or the second time I failed it, so they did it a third time, then it was borderline. They're like, you're okay. Idiots. They should have treated me for gestational diabetes. If it wasn't for my husband, he was in the Army at the time, and if it wasn't for the support of his chain of command, I think I probably would have died, and my baby. I went into the hospital with extremely high blood pressure. They tested my urine. I had I can't remember what you call it, high protein in my urine, which is also a sign of preeclampsia. And they're like, okay, you're staying here, and you're going to be having this baby. Plus, you're already in labor. So I was admitted, and they decided to, I'm going to try to drive again. Poor car. Such a piece of crap. Keeps going back up again. Oh, please let me make it. This is ridiculous. Stupid old piece of crap. Anyway, so I was very, very sick. My heart almost stopped twice. Completely. They gave me those crazy shots to get it going again. They had to give me 2 of them. If the second one hadn't worked, they would have had to jumpstart my heart. I had no idea what was going on because I was completely out of it. I was out cold. So I was in labor for just over 2 days, hard labor, because they gave me Pitocin, which puts you in like major labor. Baby had to come via emergency C-section after I was more stabilized, because if they'd done it right after my heart almost stopped, it would have killed me and the baby. He was born, I saw him for like a split second, and they rushed him off. Thing is, even though he was just over 2 months early, he weighed 8 pounds and 6 ounces, and he was about 21.5 inches long. He was a big kid, man. He was big. They said upon due date, he would have easily been a 12-pounder. He should have only been about 3 pounds. And my body knew he was too big. My body could not handle it. He was too big for me, and he was growing way too fast for my body to adjust. I couldn't even walk. My hips were out of place. I was in a wheelchair most of the pregnancy. I was violently ill every day of that pregnancy. If I didn't eat every 2 hours around the clock, I was super ill and dehydrated and very, very sick and weak. Among other complications, I don't need to mention that were pretty freaking bad, that almost put me into cardiac arrest a couple of times, and oh my gosh, it was just a wreck. So, oh, my car's gonna overheat again. So anyway, I had this premature baby who was a monster. His heart had holes in it, more than one. It wasn't beating right. It was total heart murmur. He couldn't breathe on his own. They had to intubate him. He couldn't eat on his own. Plus, they're treating me for preeclampsia, so I was drugged up with magnesium. It made me totally just like oblivious. My preeclampsia got worse after he was born, which is a rare complication, but it happened. And then my bladder disease went completely haywire, and I just peed straight blood for days. And then, come on, car, you can do it. And then, baby was in a room. Yeah, there it goes. Baby was in a room with other babies that weighed, 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds. They were like a third to a half his size. Tiny little things that had the same problems he did. They had him under heat. Dude, stupid car. They had him under heat and monitors everywhere, tubes everywhere. He was one sick little dude, okay guys? And he was just as sick as those other tiny babies were. The exact same complications that they were having, he was having. He almost didn't make it. People don't judge a newborn baby just by its size. Yes, smaller babies can have more complications, but if they're premature, they can have the exact same complications no matter what size they are. His skin was still a little tender. He was weak. My husband had to do skin to skin because he could not maintain his own body temperature. Even under the heat lamps, it was getting worse, and it was scary. They put him on a lot of medications, which kind of screwed with him. And then the doctors told me that he would have a number of complications that every other premature baby would have. Eyesight problems, possibly hearing problems, possibly heart problems, asthma, ADHD, things like that. They were not caused by medications that I took because I was on a couple of different medications that I couldn't get off of. And they were not caused by me mistreating my baby or being neglectful or stupid. And my baby, as large as he was still considered very premature. I had what someone I care about called a real preemie. I was quite offended when she told me that I never had a real preemie. Yeah, I was across the country. You weren't there. You didn't see what was going on, and you weren't that involved. So don't judge. And also, while I was across the country, I had no family that came out, even though I almost died, and that my baby almost died. I had no friends. I was alone, just me and my husband. It was very, very hard. It was one of the hardest things that we have ever been through. And we did it alone. Our church stepped in the area of the hospital because where we lived, the church was not supporting us. It was horrible and it was heartbreaking. We had a couple of friends from the area that were helping us, and that was it. Everyone else just kind of, sorry, wish we could help, we can't. But they could. They were just being told they couldn't help. And even the church leader where we were living said, that's not a real premature baby. And oh my gosh, it was so hurtful. We were suffering through the same things that every other parent suffers through when they have a premature baby, and they were telling us that we didn't have one. Like, are you that uneducated? Anyway, so research a little bit more when you're going to be judging somebody, or when you're going to be wondering something. If you're curious, ask questions. Look some information up. Become educated. Don't be an ignorant fool that is going to say hurtful things. Don't make it a competition like, oh, well, my baby was more premature than your baby. Oh, my baby was sicker than your baby. Oh, well, I know someone who had sicker babies than yours. That is so freaking lame. I went through the same thing they did, except my health was super bad and I almost died from more than just preeclampsia complications. Anyway, there's my rant about premature babies. If you have anything you want to add or any questions that you want to share, just please feel free to comment. And if you want to share this video with anybody who could, you know, hear a little bit more about what a premature baby is, or if they have something that you think they might find interesting or want to share or talk about, then please share it. Like my videos, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm going to be doing some more vlogging and ranting probably. Anyway, I love you all. I love your support. Thank you so much. And I'll see you later. Adios.